being new to e-biking, sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed with everything that you've got to think of before you go out on a ride. You've got to make sure the bike's charged, you've got to make sure you've got all the display settings right, things like this. And so there's about 7 things that every e-biker should take with them when they go out on a ride. And the experienced people, they already know this, but being new, I know in the beginning, the first 3 or 4 rides, there was things that I intended to take with us that I didn't take and wish I would have. So I'm going to show you those 7 things right now. So most people with a bike, one of the first accessories they'll get is a rack and a bag. The bag's essential. You don't have to worry about it since you've got the battery. You can carry some weight with you, so you can carry more of a load than maybe a traditional biker normally would just going out for a ride. And so I keep everything here in the bag, and we're going to go through it right now and pull out about 7 things that I think everybody should have with them. First thing is a cell phone. Sounds obvious. It might be the last thing that you forget to take with you, but also make sure it's charged. Another thing is, if it's not charged, you can take an auxiliary battery with you. I've got a Mophie battery that I take with me on flights and when I travel, and sometimes I'll stick that in my bag as well if my cell phone isn't charged or my wife's cell phone isn't charged. That way we can connect, and we've always got a good connection. So you tend to go further on e-bikes than you normally would on a standard pedal bike. I know we do. So the further away we get, the more difficult it would be if something happened along the way. And so in order to have contact with anybody, maybe I want to call back to the house and say, hey, take the truck and come pick us up, or I need to call somebody and tell them that we're going to be late, this and that. Always bring your cell phone. Most people don't leave home without it, so this should be intuitive. The next thing you want to have, let's pull it out, is a pump. And this is in no particular order because I'm just pulling them out of the bag. So I've got a pump here, it's a hand pump. Now I've got a fat tired bike. To be honest, I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take for me to do that, but you can also use the CO2 cartridges. In the past, I haven't had luck with the CO2 cartridges. I've gone through them, but tried to use them and still didn't end up with an inflated tire. That's probably on me. There's better sets out there now and things that give you a little bit more control on the air that you're putting in. But we were at REI and they had a sale on these, and so got a nice pump to go with us. And worst case scenario, there will be air in the tire somehow. It just might take me a little while. So bring an air pump with you, because if you get a flat tire, one of the next items is going to be a tire patch kit, and you're going to want to know how to put all that together to get yourselves home. This next one's sort of an easy one. Water, right? Again, we tend to go further distances when we have a battery attached to our bike than when we don't. So water is a necessity. We try to keep cold water with us, because that would be refreshing. It's summertime right now, but it turns out a lot of times I never touch the bottle, so I just keep one extra one in the bag. And my wife goes through a lot of water. I don't, probably should, but water is another essential. Don't forget to take that with you. Let's see what next. Okay, keys. So we have 2 e-bikes, and each bike came with 2 keys. So this fob is for my horn alarm, and I'll link the video for that up top. That goes on there, and then I've got a key for my wife's Rad Mini. Got a key for my Juice Bike's Rip Current S. This is for the Thule rack, the locks on that for the back of the vehicle. And this one is for the Abus Barrero bike lock. And so the reason we keep 2 sets, we keep one in my bag and one in her bag, that's so if one of us loses a set, we've got an exact duplicate set, we can get back home. Because if we stop somewhere, we eat, we have a snack, we turn off the batteries with the key, lock them up, this and that. We don't want to get stuck anywhere stranded. So if you don't have a second bike, throw them in your bag, throw another set in your pocket, something, but it would be good to keep 2 sets of keys with you so you don't get stranded somewhere. Okay, toolkit. So there's 2 things in this toolkit that you'll definitely need. Most of the e-bikes will come with a really basic limited toolkit, but that's enough. That's all you need for on-the-road repairs. But another thing you need is some levers to get the tire, break the bead from the tire and get it off in case you need to patch a tube while you're out. These tire levels are awesome, by the way, and they're called Pedro's. Fantastic tire lever set. This multi-tool has already saved us once, in that we were out on the trail and my wife's right pedal came off. I thought I had tightened it fully when I assembled the bike, but I didn't put any Loctite on there at all, so the bike came off. The threads were a little worn, a little coarse, but I was able to get it back on with this tool, and worked out perfect. Another thing is the Allen wrench set on there is very good. It doesn't strip easy. It's not the soft metal like you get on the cheap ones from Harbor Freight and whatnot. But a few times I've tightened down the head on the head mount where the handlebars are on my bike when I felt them getting a little loose. And usually what I do is when something like that happens, I'll come back and I'll put Loctite on everything, just the medium blue Loctite, and try to square that away. But this thing's already paid for itself a couple times over. And then we've got the tire patches themselves. These are the scabs from Slime. They adhere really, really well in our tires. In both of our tires, I've got the Tuffy extra wide for fat tire liners, and then I also have Slime in each of the wheels. But obviously I carry this, and it's good to be proficient at being able to change a tire before you actually need to change a tire. So do it at home in your garage. If you wanted to put liners in, that's one good way to practice taking the rim off or the wheel off the bike and opening up that rim and getting inside there and practicing put that on and resetting that. So I've got some experience with enduro bikes and have had to do that on the trail before, so I felt very comfortable on these bikes. But when I put those liners in, it was a nice lesson to learn the specifics about each one of these bikes, because we have two electric bikes and both of the rear wheels come off just a little bit differently. It's really easy and really basic. If you try to read the directions, it gets a little complicated, but if you just do it step by step, do it through a YouTube video, something like this, pause it, do each step, you'll get it down pat in no time. Here's another thing on my list, and that is the bike lock itself. So this is an Abus lock, folding lock, fits really well. It's got the bars. You know, there's nothing out there that's going to be foolproof, but you can buy these two at a time, and then they come key to like. So if you can imagine, I bought one for my wife's bike and then one for my bike as well. So they mount really easy, they go in nicely. It's got a clip on there, and I've got a Velcro band that I put around that in order to keep that squared away, and holds it in there really, really nice. And the last thing I've got in here is a cable. So this is a Kryptoflex Kryptonite cable, and it's 6 foot, I believe. So why do I have this if I've got the bike lock? Well, that bike lock does well. I can go around the frame, I can go around the front wheel, I can go around the back wheel, and then something that's stationary, but I can't go around all of it and keep it secured. Also, if my wife and I are together and I want to tie the bikes together, I can use this right here. Yeah, they're easy to clip, but I also have a horn alarm on this bike, and then I've got the Abus bar lock on there. But I think it's just really handy to have, and in case one of the bikes had a malfunction and I wanted to tow her, I wanted her to tow me, I could use this for that as well. So I think it's handy, doesn't take up much room, and I think it's a good idea. Those are the 7 basic items that I think everybody should take with them when they're riding their e-bike. Most people that are doing e-bikes nowadays, at least initially, they're not professionals, right? So we're going to be further away from home, something's going to happen, and we need to make sure that we're prepared so that we can make the whole excursion as uneventful as possible. These micro adventures are supposed to be fun, not supposed to be a pain in the you-know-what. And so in order to do that, you have to be prepared and you have to know how to use these few basic tools and have everything with you. If you would like to add anything to this list and you think there's more that we should take with us, please put it in the comment section below. And if you found this useful or educational, please hit the subscribe button, and I thank you very much.